Are you wondering if you're codependent or counter-dependent? Well, today you're going to find out which way you lean and my top 3 tips for creating healthy, connected relationships. I'm Dr. Abby Medcalf, and I'm here every week answering your big questions about how to have happy, connected relationships. So make sure you subscribe so we don't miss a minute of our time together. All right, let's start with codependency. And I want to start there because, you likely know what that is. And if you don't, you need to go listen to my podcast on the questions to ask yourself to know if you're codependent. There's 4 that you need to ask yourself to know if you are. And I cover them there. But you can also, I have a video on it. I'll link to that below. But for now, let me just say a few things so you can know for sure if you're in this category, without having to wait. All right. So codependents get their emotional lives fulfilled through others. If someone in their life is upset, they're upset. So this might be you. Disappointing other people is their kryptonite. It will keep them up all night wondering what they did wrong and how to fix it. Again, if this is you, you might be codependent. In general, codependents really become overly focused on other people's needs instead of their own, and generally don't even know what their own needs even are. Codependents want to control everyone. I am a control enthusiast, which I've talked about before, so I feel your pain, and tend to think they know what's best or what should happen, even if they don't think of it in those terms, but that's really what you're doing, and you get upset when other people don't do what you say or do what you think they should do. And I'll say how you know if you're not codependent is if you ask others for help easily. Codependents suck at asking for help. But so do counterdependents. So let me talk about counterdependency. And really, counterdependency is pretty much the opposite of codependency, at least on the outside, but it really comes from the same place of a lack of self-esteem or a lack of self-worth on the inside. So, but where a codependent is overly focused on others, the counterdependent is really focused on themselves and their own needs. And the counterdependent is someone who they really avoid closeness and intimacy. They might be in a relationship, but they really keep their own counsel, their own best judgment, and really aren't looking to deeply bond with anyone else, even if that's not something they realize consciously. So really where codependents don't trust themselves, so need the love of others to reflect back that they're okay, counterdependents don't trust anyone but themselves. They have really at a core a deep mistrust of others, so they're very self-reliant. And from the outside, some counterdependents, I want to say this, might seem like they have good relationships, but if you look closely, there's actually a lot of distance and fear. And they often fear really commitment or monogamy when they do get into relationships. So sometimes this person will, always be making an out. Well, can we have other people in the bedroom maybe? Or, I'm going to date other people. Or, and they also, or again, don't really want to commit and maybe live together or get married, or maybe they'll only live together and not get married. And they'll likely get angry or leave if you push them to be vulnerable in some way. They do not like that. Some other notable, I'd say, traits of counterdependence include rigid boundaries or very black and white thinking. It's sort of their way or the highway. They're just, this is how we do it. Some self-centeredness. And really what I see a lot is this difficulty relaxing. So they might be addicted to things like work or exercise or doing. They're just super busy all the time. So by now, you're likely sitting there realizing that you're either a little codependent or a little counterdependent, okay, or maybe you're realizing that you're a lot codependent or a lot counterdependent. So, what should you do next? And I'm always about actionable tips. So here are my top 3 tips, no matter which way you identify. And the first one is you've got to get self-aware. I know if you've been listening to me for a while, you're sick and tired maybe of me talking about self-awareness, but guess what? Too bad. You won't be able to make any changes if you're not aware and especially aware in your moments that you're acting in these sort of old defeating ways. If you don't notice that you're being controlling, how are you supposed to change it? And I've got great, I'm bragging, but I do, great videos and podcasts on self-awareness with very actionable tips. And I'll link to those below. So if you really want to work on self-awareness, go listen to those or watch, because again, I'm going to give you very actionable tips. And if you feel like you need more, let's say you're doing that and you're thinking, I'm just not able to get self-aware enough, I say, get yourself to a therapist. If you're codependent, you likely need to work on self-esteem and your control issues. And if you're counterdependent, it's about learning to be vulnerable and really connecting on a heart level to the people in your life with empathy and compassion. All right. So tip number 2 is to start identifying and saying what you need. It's time to learn how to say what you really need. No passive aggressive bullshit, no walking away, no antics, no nothing. It's time to talk about real feelings and notice your discomfort in asking for what you need and asking for help in a direct way. And to do that, you really need to get mindful in your moments. And the best way to get better at that is to really have a daily practice of meditation. And if you're rolling your eyes right now and you feel like you just can't meditate, you can download I have it's free, no strings attached, meditation starter kit, it's just a commitment of literally less than 5 minutes a day. I think it's 3 minutes. So I know you've got that. So take your time, go get that. And the third tip is to really notice your feelings. And this goes hand in hand really with knowing what you need. You got to notice what emotions you feel when you experience some sort of insecurity with others. And insecurity is really fear. If any kind of fear stuff, that anxiety or anything, and the insecure, it's really all about insecurity. So do you get anxious and maybe clingy with your friends? Is that something they complain about or you've heard? Do you get angry and resentful at your boss? Are you jealous or distrustful with your partner? You've got a feeling pattern, and it's important to identify it and then redirect yourself in those moments. And once again, meditation is the road to freedom here, and noticing, to notice your feelings and to really be in your moments. So I'm going to be a Jewish mother bossy and tell you one more time to download my free meditation starter kit if you don't already meditate. If you're already doing it, excellent. And so that's it. Practice your tools, and I will see you next week.